You are listening to chartingwealth.com for Friday, the 21st of September, 2018. What do we do here every day? We break these charts down for you. You can use the lessons we teach here on any ETF, any stock. And that's what we do is we help you understand how to simply chart. Remember, it is a binary decision. Either the equity you're looking at is going up or down, sometimes sideways, but really it's binary. It seems simple. It's not. And in fact, if it were simple, everyone would be a millionaire. We teach you, though, how to follow trends. That is what we are all about. We do it very simply because we believe in you keep things as simple as possible. But as Einstein said, not simpler. Occam's razor we also teach on. Occam's razor tells you that typically the easiest way to do something, the one with the least number of variables, tends to be the best way. And that's what we've done here. That's why we use the charts we use, and you can use them across the board. We have lots of great training at the end of the video. Let's jump into the markets today. Everything up for the day. We always start with the S&P 500 up 0.79%. The weekly candle we see is the biggest candle that we've seen here going on 3 weeks. We had a big candle back 4 weeks ago, the week ending the 31st of August, but these last going on 3 weeks now. This is the biggest. We've got a nice wick on top of it also, trying to see, looks like, yes, we finally moved above where we had topped out back on the week ending the 31st. See derivative oscillator losing energy, price percent oscillator, which is our main oscillator, is heading up. And in fact, I'm going to put a special training in at the end of the program today on the price percent oscillator, very similar to the MACD, but it is different and it's better than the MACD. And you'll learn that if you stay tuned and listen to that training at the end of the daily review today. So we go from the weekly. What do we see going on the 2-day chart? Well, the 2-day chart is trying to cross over. This first day of the latest 2-day candle. If indeed it crosses over, it means it will be going in the same direction as the weekly, which then opens us up for a potential up trade. Hasn't happened yet, and the derivative oscillator is still quite negative. Remember, this candle does not finish drawing until the end of the day on Friday. So we'll see how that develops into the following week. Don't forget also at the end of the day on Friday, what do? We record the comprehensive review and forecast, which goes through what happened over the prior week and what we might see happening this next week. If you sign up for and subscribe to us at chartingwealth.com, you'll get that in your email every day, plus that weekly, once a week over the weekend. We record it at the close of the market on Friday. What's going on the 4-hour chart in the S&P? Up in the morning, up again in the afternoon. So again, let's watch on the S&P and see if we have a crossover going up on that 2-day chart, which could set us up for things. Now, we go from the weekly on the S&P 500 to the Qs, which is the NASDAQ 100. What do we see going on with the tech stocks? Well, folks, looked like we were going to have a crossover going down. Didn't happen or hasn't happened yet. Might be a big down day on Friday, but right now it's pulled back through or trying to pull back through the blue signal line, well, the blue, which is the MACD, pulling through, or the PPO, price percent oscillator, pulling through the red signal line. Looked like it was for sure going to be a crossover, but with strong up movement over the course of the day on Thursday, that's being called into question, just like happened at the end of last week, the 14th, on Friday the 14th, when it looked like things might cross over going down, and it just sort of laminated. So far, we have a green spinning top. Price movements now above the weekly trend line, had been trying to push below it. Derivative oscillator still losing energy, and the price percent oscillator, it may end the week crossing over, but it may not. This is why we trend follow. We don't guess. The first day of this latest 2-day candle is up. Remember, on the 2-day candle, still negative on the derivative oscillator and the price percent oscillator. So we'll continue to watch and see what we see. And of course, that 4-hour chart, big up in the morning, followed by up in the afternoon, crossed over in the morning, going up. Derivative oscillator crossed over to go up with the price percent oscillator in the afternoon. So that's where we are as far as stocks go. We go to the weekly chart on TLT 20-year bonds. Again, big weekly down candle, even though TLT was up for the day on Thursday. That's just one day of a 5-day candle, up 0.46%. And again, this is the first week after the weekly vertical crossover going down. Price movement is below the 2-day. And at the end of the week, we can probably draw a weekly trend line. Don't have one yet. And of course, we see that, again, the Heiken Ashi candlestick is drawn differently, even though it was up for the day. We have average pace down on our Heiken Ashi candlesticks, derivative oscillator gaining momentum, price percent oscillator heading down. Also, we go to the 4-hour chart. What do we see going on there? Well, the morning started off with a solid green candle, and then an open box green candle for stronger movement up in the afternoon. Hasn't crossed over going up yet. So we're still in our down play, but some caution. Pay attention to the change in sentiment, at least for the day on Thursday. If you jumped in and were riding that candle down, again, still have every reason to think it will continue down, but let's just watch and see what we see. We had that weekly vertical crossover. Those of you who are new to things, at the end of the prior week, we have two main ways of getting into trades. One is both the weekly and the 2-day moving in the same direction. Pull back on the 4-hour, crosses back over in the same direction. We jump in. The other is a weekly vertical crossover, which is what we had happen at the end of the prior week. Lastly, we go to gold. And we see on gold, it was up for the day 0.33%. We're hoping that gold is going to bottom out and cross over going up so we can ride gold up. Hasn't happened yet. We've been watching now going on 5 weeks. We shall see if indeed it does. Derivative oscillator losing momentum. That down momentum, which is good, means we might have a crossover at some point. Will it happen on Friday? Not likely. Might happen over the course of the next week. The 2-day, of course, already crossed over going up back on the 24th of August and has been really sideways most of the time, tending up. And we see that over this first day of the latest 2-day candle, the derivative oscillator had flattened out previously and has started to head up, which is a good sign of potential continued movement. And of course, price percent oscillator, as we said, is heading up. 4-hour chart, what do we see there? 4-hour chart up in the morning and then pretty much about the same in the afternoon. So we'll just continue to watch and see what we see. That's how we end the day on Thursday, go into the last day of the week. Thanks so much for listening. You have questions, problems, concerns, always feel free to write us, chartingwealth1@gmail.com. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team here at Charting Wealth World headquarters.